What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here. Apple's Let's Talk iPhone keynote just ended, and they talked a lot about the iPhone. They talked a bit about iOS. They talked some about iPods. Let's go ahead and run through everything Apple announced. So the keynote just ended, and I have 3 pages of notes in front of me. So if you see me look down and look back up again, it's not because I'm checking you out, even though chances are you're pretty good looking. I'm not riding the elevator down and riding it all the way back up again. Nothing creepy like that. I'm just looking at my notes, or my notes, depending how you want to call it. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. First, no Steve Jobs. Wasn't there, wasn't on stage, wasn't announcing anything. He's probably chilling at home in his mansion, drinking some coffee or some tea with his iPod on his lap. All right, so first, let's jump right in. Tim Cook took the stage and talked about Apple's upward momentum, which is going straight up. 125% growth on the iPhone over last year. It's a lot of iPhones being sold. Over 6 million downloads of Lion, so that's obviously quite a bit. And then they talked about something new and everybody was all excited. And then it was a cards application that makes greeting cards. So now you'll be able to make greeting cards from your phone. You can take a picture, create it, use your iOS device to edit it, and Apple will print it and send it anywhere in the world for $4.99. That'll be available October 12th. Alright, so next they talked a bit about iOS 5, which will be coming on the 12th as well. We'll talk a lot more about iOS 5 in a few minutes. They jumped now to iCloud, which also will be coming October 12th. It's a very important day. They talked about pictures and backups, all the stuff we know to back up your pictures, blah, 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 send them to your new phone. Talked about how you don't need a computer anymore to set up your iOS device like mostly every other phone out there. But hey, that's a plus at least. They talked a bit about Find My Friends, which is going to let people who you have approved and they have approved to look their location, find them, which has many nefarious uses. So kids out there, don't let your parents activate this feature. And if you are a husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend doing something bad, your spouse isn't gonna check it out. You don't want people knowing where you are in general. It's just creepy. It's just straight up creepy, I'm gonna say it. I don't like it. But you have the option here if you do like it. So they also said you're gonna be getting iOS 5 for free, so that's great. You're gonna get 5 gigs of iCloud storage for free, and you can always purchase more. Talked a bit about iTunes Match as well. It's going to be available the end of October. Told you not checking it out, just looking at notes. iTunes Match, take all your music, match it in the cloud, and you can play it from devices. You know what that is. We've talked about that. Not the star of the show. All right, then they talked a bit about iPods. The iPod Nano or iPod Shuffle rather, got a small update. iPod Nano now has 16 new clock faces because they evidently love the watches that you can do with the iPod Nano. $129 for 8 gigs, $149 for 16. It's available today, so if you want that, go buy it. It looks exactly the same, but this isn't 3D. I could totally look like I was coming right out of your monitor. Then they talked about the iPod Touch, available now in black or white. Retina display, HD video recording, of course, iOS 5. $199 for 8 gigs, $299 for 32 gigs, and $399 for 64 gigs. Available October 12th. Great. So there you go. Those are all the new iPods. Now let's talk about the new iPhones. The update to the iPhone that's been on the market for about 1.5 years. It's not the iPhone 5. It's not the iPhone 4G. It's not the iPhone 4 Plus. It is the iPhone 4S. Only one new iPhone was announced today. It is the iPhone 4S. And it looks exactly the same as the iPhone 4 currently on the market. This one's been aftermarket converted, but black or white are going to be the colors. Looks exactly the same. The antenna system is going to be almost indistinguishable from the CDMA version that's out now on Verizon. Supposedly they fixed the antenna issue, so if you hold it like this in your left hand, you're not going to get dropped calls. But hey, good news for accessory makers, I guess, right? So same on the outside, different on the inside. It's like a chocolate Hostess cupcake. You know what it's going to taste like on the inside, but they might make it look different on the outside. All right, so what are you going to get? That was an awful analogy. So what are you going to get on the inside? We're going to get the A5 chip, which is dual core. You're going to get graphics up to 7 times faster. To show those graphics that are 7 times faster, they brought in Epic Games to show Infinity Blade Dose, which looks pretty awesome and is going to be available December 1st. You'll also get up to 2 times faster CPU, and all this power is not going to drain your battery life. Apple's saying you'll get 8 hours of 3G talk time and 10 hours of video time, and Apple's usually pretty close with their battery estimates, so that's awesome. You're going to get 2 times faster downloads potentially, so up to 14.4. That is HSDPA on the GSM side. You'll also be able to switch both antennas. So what that really means is it's one phone for CDMA and one phone for GSM. It's just one phone. Only one phone is going to be available. If you are on AT&T, if you're on Verizon, or if you're on Sprint, because it's now going to be available on Sprint, you're going to be buying exactly the same phone, not 2 different versions. One phone. That is super neat, I guess. So it's a complete world phone. So if you're on Verizon, you're traveling abroad, they don't have a CDMA network, it'll automatically switch over. So that's kind of cool. And then they talked a lot about the cameras. So let's talk about the cameras. 60% more pixels than the iPhone 4 camera. So that's pretty awesome. It's got, check it out, backside illumination. Get it? Not funny? Okay, well it has that. It's also going to show 73% more light, hybrid IR filter, face detection, better white balance. And you'll be able to shoot your first picture from lock in 1.1 seconds. Second pic will take about half a second, and every one after that will take half a second. 1080p video recording, so that's awesome with image stabilization. So if you're doing something that involves you moving around, let's say hypothetically with your phone, you can image stabilize it and be good to go. So 1080p is pretty nice. You're also going to now get wireless AirPlay mirroring. So if you want, so you can obviously AirPlay video and audio content and pictures from your iOS device to an Apple TV. Now you can do that with games. So maybe this is Apple's foray into a game console. The iOS device is being that console. So you can play Infinity Blade on your giant television. I don't know if I'd use that. It's kind of a neat feature. It's something that you guys would use. What uses would you have for it? Maybe I'm just not thinking of them. And maybe in a year it'll be one of those features that I say, you know what, I couldn't live without. You know, but want to hear what you guys have to say. And then they talked a lot about voice. They talked about voice, they talked about voice, they talked about voice. And their new voice assistant called Siri, which is unique to the iPhone 4S. It's not an iOS 5 feature, so you're not going to get this on an iPhone 4 or any other device. Just keep that in mind. So it does a lot of interesting things. You can talk to your phone, which is going to create a totally new level of douchebaggery when out in public, whether you're on a train or walking around. You can say to your phone, what's the weather? Let me look right. Phone, what's the weather? And the phone will tell you the weather. You can say, phone, read me text messages, and it'll read you the text message. It'll also do that if you have a Bluetooth device connected. So if you're driving and you have a Bluetooth headset in, it'll read back your messages. You can ask the phone for the weather. You can ask the phone to make an appointment for you. You can ask the phone, hey iPhone, when's the Droid Prime coming out? Because you're disappointing. And then it'll self-destruct. You can ask it a ton of different stuff. It can make appointments and all that goodness for you. We're on page 3 now, so still a lot more stuff to talk about. You can also define words. So you can say iPhone 4S, define disappointment. Then you can guess what it might show. Pricing. Let's talk about pricing. So 16 gig is going to be $199. Of course, all these are on 2-year contracts. 32 gig is going to be $299, and a new 64 gig model is $399. So the 16 and 32 gig prices are the same as what the 4 was yesterday. And now the 64 gigabyte model is all new for just about $400. The 3GS is sticking around. It will be free on a 2-year contract. The iPhone 4 also isn't going anywhere, but it's losing a couple gigabytes. An 8 gigabyte model will be available for $99. Pre-orders are going to start Friday, October 7th. You'll be able to pick up your phone, and it'll be available in stores on October 14th. And of course, you'll be able to get that now on Sprint, Verizon, or AT&T. Sorry, T-Mobile. So what do you guys think about the iPhone 4S? A year and a half later, was it worth the wait? Do you wish you just would have bought that Droid Bionic that you had your eye on, or that Samsung Galaxy S2? Are you happy that you waited? Are you going to upgrade? Are you eager to sign a 4-year contract? I want to know if you'll be able to buy the phone without a contract, if it'd be available unlocked. You know, we're all kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with that. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed here. I've been an iPhone user since 2007 when it first came out, and I switched and pulled it out of my pocket to a BlackBerry, and I was looking forward to maybe switching back if the iPhone was going to be impressive, but I'm a bit unsure. So we'll certainly review it, we'll test it, and maybe it will shock me with its speed and fastness and fastitude and the rest of that fast words I can't think of on the spot. But I am definitely looking forward to checking it out, and we'll be able to show you all the different variants of it from AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon. So leave your comments down below. I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. Be sure to check out the website for all your tech news, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.